local news, the University Executive Officers Association states that all categories of staff should receive a salary hike in equal proportion. A communique issued by the association notes that other trade unions comprising of non-academic staff have also expressed their consent in this regard and will resort to trade union action.
The University Executive Officers Association points out that all salary hikes that have been given so far have been done in equal proportion covering all the university staff. Thereby, they point out that they oppose a salary increment being given to only one group this time around. The University Executive Officers Association added that they have already forwarded letters to the President as well as to the Ministry of Higher Education urging a response within 7 days.
Meanwhile, the Federation of University Teachers Association of FUTA states that they will continue their strike if Circular number 956 of the University Grants Commission is not removed with immediate effect. Media spokesperson of the Federation, Dr. Mahim Mendes, stated that this decision was reached at a meeting of the Federation last evening with regard to a discussion held between representatives of FUTA and Secretary of the Ministry of Finance, P.B. Jayasundara.
University academics always believed in a meaningful, long-term settlement to the crisis confronting them with regard to their salaries. We have very clearly told the government that what we need is not a solution within 24 hours. We need an interim solution that will be leading to a permanent solution that will not grieve the academics anymore. The President of this country has clearly stated his position with regard to the senior professors. A particular salary point has been suggested by His Excellency. But in our discussions with the Treasury, we realized yesterday that what is now offered is not what the President has suggested. It is far below what the President has suggested. We want the government, His Excellency, to intervene and ensure that his own word is respected by the government concerning our salaries. Yet another important issue I want to stress is the UGC Circular 956, which is considered by us as unconstitutional, which is an insult to the integrity of the academic community.
Meanwhile, at a media briefing held today, the Minister of Higher Education responded to questions raised by journalists over the university lecturers' issue.
Discussions are being held and I think the issue will be solved very soon. Therefore, I am not going to discuss the matter now. Will there be a delay until the next budget to recommence academic activities? What is the connection between the budget and education? Isn't it likely that the salaries of university lecturers will be increased through the budget? That is foolish talk. I am sad that as a journalist you made such a statement. There is no connection between the budget and this issue. This is there even in today's newspapers. What is the problem? It is not good to ask such questions. The university lecturers issue is not connected with the budget. Didn't you read the newspapers in the morning? Former Army Commander Sarath Fonseca was brought to a private hospital in Colombo today as well to undergo physiotherapy.
Former Army Commander Sarath Fonseca is undergoing physiotherapy based on medical advice.
Dollar stands at 110 rupees. It is the inefficient politicians who brought the country into such a situation. The assistance of everyone who loves the country, including intellectuals, entrepreneurs as well as clergy, is needed to bring prosperity to the country. To look at the direction in which this country is heading, frauds have taken place through the hedging deal as well as through sports, which has now been destroyed. The public have been taken for a ride by substandard fuel. Nurachole is closed. I think it is time that the public became more vigilant about the developments that are unfolding in the country, where robbers are being protected and individuals like General Sarath Fonseca, who fought to liberate the country, are being imprisoned.
The residents of the Kakirava Palagala area launched a protest today, urging the authorities to provide a solution to the human-elephant conflict, which has become a threat to their lives and property. Details of that story will come on later on in the bulletin. Still in local news, the Associated Press has reported that U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has said that India's example of multicultural democracy should serve as a model for neighbouring Sri Lanka. Clinton has also stated that the Sri Lankan government is yet to fulfill its promise to push for national reconciliation. Speaking in the South Indian city of Chennai, Clinton had stated that it could be seen how much society can achieve when all citizens fully join their country's political and economic life, while saying that every Sri Lankan deserves the same hope and opportunity.
The Minister of Public Management Reforms, Navin Dissanayake, says that if the building blocks are in place, the ICT industry alone is capable of generating the revenues to take Sri Lanka into the 21st century and beyond. The Minister expressed this view at the second session of the Future Gov Forum held in Colombo today.
The second session of the second annual Future Gov Forum Sri Lanka 2011 conference, conducted by the Information and Communication Technology Agency in Sri Lanka, got underway in Colombo today. Discussions were held under various topics including re-engineering government.
I have seen with my own eyes how a young rural lad or a girl who has just missed the university entrance by a couple of marks, how we can re-engineer them and give them the tools to be employable in the market. If we handle it properly, if the building blocks are in place, this industry alone is capable of generating the revenues, the job opportunities, and the dynamism to take Sri Lanka into the 21st century and beyond.
Well, as promised, we now have the details of the story I brought to you a couple of seconds ago, where the residents of the Kakirava Palagala area have launched a protest urging the authorities to provide a solution to the human-elephant conflict, which has become a threat to their lives and property. Our correspondent reported that the protesters blocked the Palagala Galevala, Palagala Kakirava and Palagala Mahava main roads today.
Residents of 11 villages in the Palagala Divisional Secretariat, including Kirindiwatta, Hettiyawa, Meewawa, Kaluwarachchigama, Karavilagama, participated in the protest this morning. The group pointed out that the villages have fallen victim to wild elephant attacks and their day-to-day lives have been severely affected by these attacks.
7 individuals have been killed. Over 25 to 30 houses have been destroyed. Our cultivations have been destroyed. Recently, the officials returned and refixed the old electric fence and went away.
Though the Palagama Divisional Secretariat arrived at the location, the protesters refused to disperse, stating that they were not provided with a proper solution. The Assistant Director of Wildlife in charge of Northwestern Zone, W.S. Veragama, who arrived at the location at around 3 p.m, promised to capture the wild elephants and promised to provide protection to the villagers till the task was completed. Subsequently, the protesters dispersed.
Yesterday in Parliament, the leader of the House, Minister Nimal Siripal De Silva, vehemently objected to Democratic National Alliance parliamentarian Anura Kumar Disanayake's request for permission from the Speaker to raise a question in accordance with standing orders. Nimal Siripal De Silva's contention was that cases pertaining to the hedging deal were being heard in courts overseas and hence it was sub judice to discuss this issue. The United National Party, raising strong objections, pointed out that court cases being heard in foreign courts was neither hindrance nor a barrier to views being expressed about the subject in the country's parliament. Now, as a compromise, Speaker Chamal Rajapaksa said that he will consider the matter and announce his decision in Parliament today. Now, we have the statement made by Speaker Chamal Rajapaksa in Parliament today over this matter.
සබ්ජුඩිකේ නීතිය සිවිල් නඩුවලට බල නොපාන බව විපක්ෂ නායකතුමා විසින් සැලකර සිටියද
Despite the opposition leader stating that the sub judice law is not applicable to civil law, I do not agree with it. I would like to point out on this occasion that despite member Anurukumar Dissanayake stating that cases pertaining to Sri Lanka outside its judicial system can be debated, standing orders do not make any restrictions. This is not a case relating to private entities. One of the parties in this case is Sri Lanka. Taking into account all facts and the right of a parliamentarian to express his or her own views, I amend the question posed by Anurukumar Dissanayake based on Standing Orders 23-2.
Orders under the Fisheries and Aquatic Act were taken up for debate in Parliament today. These were some of the views expressed.
අපි අගෝස්තු මාසේ අපි කියන සතුටේ අපේ පළවෙනි ටින් මාළු කර්මාන්තශාලාව අපි
A local producer will launch the first canned fish factory along with the Fisheries Department in August. We have a huge cool room at the Galle Harbour. We are planning to produce 10,000 canned fish tins per day.
විවෘත කරනවා අපි ගාල්ලේදී උතුරු කොළඹ මෝදර දැන් මේ අවස්ථාවේදී ඇවිල්ලා මේ ගෙවල් 58ක්
Labels have been put on 58 houses in the Colombo North Modara, asking them to remove those houses. Finally, a huge problem will arise when carrying out this. At this occasion, I would like to note that I am raising a voice on behalf of those who cannot raise a voice and on behalf of their security, and ask as to why this is being carried out at a time where the country's problems are supposed to be solved, and why are they trying to provoke people yet again.